complex number is a topic that is always there on your exam. Okay, let's have a look. So in the complex number, always you're going to be reminded of that I to the power of 2 is -1. Basically, when you see in your calculation I to the power of 2, they are reminding you change to -1. Okay. The complex numbers z1, 2, and 3 are shown on the Argand diagram below. One of these numbers is on the imaginary axis, and as we can see, we have here Im, imaginary, Re, that's the real. Okay. Using the Argand diagram, write down the value of z1, z2, and z3 in the form a plus bi, where a and b belong to z. What does that mean? If we don't remember page 23 in our maths table, we can see that if we open and we have a look at those numbers, we see they are whole numbers, positive, negative, and 0. Okay, so every complex number in this form, what that means that first we have the real value and then we have the imaginary value. That's what it means. So real, we are reading on the real axis, and imaginary on the imaginary axis. The idea is the same like with coordinate geometry, that this is like my y and this is like my x-axis. The same idea. X go first in coordinate geometry, the same here, real values go first. So z1, where is our z1 here? So how do we read it? First the real value, which is 4, and then the imaginary value, which is 3. So 3 and imaginary value have I beside it, imaginary. Okay, now z2, that's the one that is on the axis. Where do I read real value? Here, and that value is 0, and then the imaginary value is here, so therefore 2, and not forget about I. And then z3, again in real value first, -2, and then imaginary here, that's -1, so -1, and we don't forget about the I. Okay, and then the next part of this question. So here is saying, write down the value of z2. So I need to understand, what does that mean? When you have this bracket, which is absolute value bracket, what that means this is a distance, in the context of the complex number, that means it is a distance from complex number to the origin. Origin is 0, 0. So that's the distance. Now, the reason why they are saying write down the value, they are not saying calculate, which we can calculate because it's a vertical line, and in coordinate geometry we can read vertical line like here 1, 2. So actually that is 2. However, let's say if they ask us to calculate that distance from z1 to the origin, or this distance from z3 to the origin, what do we do? Well, we have a formula for that. So when I'm looking for that distance of any complex number, I take a value. A value is the real value to the power of 2 plus b, and b is the number that stands beside I, so -1 or 2 or 3, and again take that to the power of 2 and all of that under the square root. Now this formula is not in your maths table, so you need to know. So here, if I was to make the calculation for that z2, first the real value is 0, so 0 to the power of 2 plus the b value is in this case 2 to the power of 2 under the square root. If we put that in the calculator, press equal, we're going to get 2. Now both of them are very typical of your exam. Usually you have to plot and label the complex number, and usually you actually have to do the calculation for that distance here.